Ah, what a good opening. Can't go wrong with pink. Again, but again, you can't go wrong with pink. Hi everybody, how are y'all doing? My name is Bear. I'm barely watercoloring. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. When I am, sometimes I'm not. So there's that. Uh hey, look at what dried from last time, from Thursday. Came out quite nice. Let me zoom in on it so you can see it. In fact, I might even turn it so you can see it even better. Yeah, it came out kind of cool. I'm very happy with how that came out. This was watercolor inks on mineral paper. Mineral paper. It works differently than normal paper because it doesn't absorb all the water, at least not right away. It almost completely rests on top of it and dries that way. Uh, yeah, so there's that. It's quite pretty, especially when you hold it at an angle and you see the silver in it and it starts shimmering. It's quite pretty. And, and what's cool about it is once it's dry, it's fairly smooth. There's not a lot of roughness, just in the area where the ink was laid down at. Obviously, because it kind of builds up and hovers in that spot. But everywhere it's spread out, it's almost completely smooth. So it just comes out so pretty and so flowy. I just love how these come out. So I think some of the next ones I do when the time comes, I'm not going to do so much of this like 2-line method with a gap in the middle. That's cute sometimes, but sometimes it's annoying. I'm also tend to much prefer doing the full sheet ones where it covers almost all of it edge to edge. But that's also quite messy. So I have to just take care to do that in a way where I don't wet it down so much that water is flowing off my table. So I'll experiment with that in the future when the time comes. I'm just glad that this one came out and it was pretty nice. A nice little combo of greens, blue, yellow, silver, all that. I'll put that to the side for now. I'll show it if anyone else comes in later. Hi, Desert. Welcome in. Uh, what am I doing today? Well, clearly something nebula-esque, in a way. Let me zoom back out. There we go. My goal today is I'm going to do a couple of things. One thing I've got that I printed out earlier that I'm going to use as a kind of template is this right here. I did some silhouettes of Voyager, or if you want to be generic about it, a Intrepid class starship from Voyager. But I want to use this one because I want to cut it out and I want to put it like here on the page on this large, this is a 15 by 20 sheet of paper. So it's a block actually. So it's all glued down, shouldn't really go anywhere too badly unless I really go edge to edge with the color without taping it down because it will want to peel at some point, but by curling. But I think if I just go gentle today and I try not to go too fully edge to edge with it, it'll be nice. My idea is cut that out as close to the actual shape as I can without going weird jaggies. Then I'll put it down and then I will trace it with a pen. Normally I would put this on a light box, but because I'm using a block, I don't want to cut it from a block to put it on the light box and then have to like tape it down because this is way too big to tape down to anything I've got. So I'm keeping it on the block and I'm going to trace this instead to get it on the paper with pencil so I can erase it. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill it in with masking fluid so that I don't get anything on it, at least not to start. After that, oh, wrong drawer. Wow, no, wrong drawer again. Oh yeah, right, it's up here. I got this 1/4-inch masking tape. So I'm going to do a couple of stripes of varying lengths behind it to show like it's in motion and warp, right? It's going that direction. And then I'm going to use some additional masking fluid, maybe. I haven't really confirmed this to myself yet. but going to use some additional masking fluid and one of the tools over here to get some random shapes or maybe some wispy kind of shapes off the tape to do like at the bottom where it's kind of doing like a fanned out effect, perhaps. Or maybe we'll just leave the pinstriping. We'll see how it looks once it's down. But once we have all of the protection down, then we can work on painting what we're going to paint. My idea is just to kind of a very light nebula, not too crazy heavy with darker colors, just to get a baseline image in the background with some varying colors. And then once all of that is done and dried, peel off everything that we put on here to protect the paper. And then I might add some like drops, like actual, like I may use the watercolor inks and do some drops from a very slight height, varying sizes to get some drop effects on here, even overlapping on top of the white where we have the ship. And we'll see how it goes from there, just to experiment. And then maybe some stars to put on top of it to have some contrast, get some white back into it. But my goal is to not go to the edge. My goal is to go near it, around it, oblong, ovally, blobby shape, mostly white on the edges so that it won't curl and become a big mess. And again, keeping it light. I might not even use any gray or indigo or anything in this. I might just be all lighter colors. But we'll see. We'll see as I get close to it because I want to see how it comes out. So let's get started. First and foremost, with the difficult part, cutting this out. Hey, goddess. Welcome in. I was just explaining what I'm doing today. And if you didn't catch it, I mean, you'll see as I'm doing it. Oh, I also have these to the side. I decided not to use today, but I will use in the future. It's a bunch of starships in a silhouette view. So when I decide to use one or some of them, this one I'll use on a light box with a piece of paper over so I can trace. So I think that would be really cool. So there's a couple different ships in here that are pretty awesome. There's the Enterprise NX-01 from Star Trek Enterprise, the one that Jonathan Archer was the captain of. He was played by Scott Bakula of Quantum Leap fame. There's the original series TOS Enterprise. There's a movie Enterprise, or maybe it was the I don't remember. Reliant, I think. That was from Wrath of Khan, the one that Khan took over and they blew up. Excelsior, Enterprise D, Galaxy class, Voyager, my favorite, Sovereign, the Enterprise E, and then Discovery. So a lot of good ships here. I really like how this comes out, and I like that it's got like the highlight of like the phaser strips and some of the features of them. I really like how these look. So they'll be cute to do like a random little ship somewhere. What'd you say? I got my mouse over your message, goddess. OMG, I just watched Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode 1 and it made me cry. Episode 1 of series, like season 1? Or of this current season that just started? Because they're all amazing. Strange New Worlds it's like a return to like original Star Trek, but exciting and with more money. So they get a little bit of everything. It's amazing. We watched the first 2 episodes of the current season, and I think there's 1 episode out after that, maybe 2. I don't remember what day it comes out. But yeah, just the show in general is stunning. The ship is beautiful. The intro sequence to the show, like when they do the title music, is beautiful, and they tweak it and update it every season. So it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, eventually if you can get to it on Paramount Plus, that's where they show all of it. It's just gorgeous, just beautiful. So yeah, when you can get to any of them at all, just enjoy them because they're just beautiful. All right, let's get started. That was a little bit louder than I expected. I heard that louder in my mic because I'm right here. Scissors. I've got some scissors here. I was going to use these guys, but they're a little too stubby for what I was going to do, I think. They're good for small things, but I'm going to, well, now I lost where that goes back there. Oh, there we go. This one's like more crafting scissors, so it's got a good point on it, so I can get some more angles on this. I'm going to go ahead and cut out everything around it so it's easier to work with. All right. Let's put him over here. Oh, don't know if you got to see it, Goddess, but this was the dried, hang on, I have to reach over and get it. Oh, well, this was the dried mineral paper work from last week when I was playing Stardew and letting this dry, literally watching paint dry. This is how it came out. It's quite pretty. I love how it all blends together. The silver in it is nice and reflective. Subtle, but reflective. It's the kind of thing. These are the ones that are really nice. That would be really pretty to put in a frame. I'm not sure which direction makes sense for this. I think this way. If it was vertical, I would do it in the frame like this. It would just be some random ass abstract art you'd see floating around somewhere in someone's house or, wherever. Yeah, these are. I love how easy these are to do, and sometimes not, because sometimes they just don't work. I've realized that you have to have a basic ass understanding of color theory to know what colors not to mix because it just turns to brown, right? But sometimes brown is pretty. But no, doing yellows and blues and greens and the silver and a little bit of the darker color, really y'all went together really nicely on this. All right, I'm done yammering about this guy. It's pretty. I had it to the side to show off since it dried. All right, but let me get everything else in order. You can go there. You can go here. My pencil is sharp, so that's ready to go when the time comes to trace this. You think you're only going to get the first season on Prime? I'm sure for now. I'm sure it'll become more available later on. It's one of those things where if you can get like a discount or something through like your cell provider or somewhere where you can get like Paramount put on there, it's always nice. But for us personally, the only thing that we see on Paramount Plus is Star Trek. And kind of once you've seen it, you've seen it. It's good for me because I like to binge watch sometimes and go back through them all. However, ours is currently turned off because ours was through our cell phone provider and they stopped providing it without paying for it. It was like a free feature, like a bonus. And they stopped that, the jerks. But that's fine. I'll just hang out and wait and then we'll turn it back on when we can. Oh no, I'm gonna have to really focus on this, otherwise I'm gonna cut weird. We'll turn it back on later when there's enough to kind of backflow and watch, probably. We'll see. We'll see. I realize I don't have to cut too perfectly by the black on this because I'm going to be tracing it. It's not like it's being pasted on or anything. Yeah, Strange New Worlds. And Anson Mount is just such an attractive pike. He does such a great job. And Rebecca Romijn, as number one, she is amazing. She does such an incredible job. They all do a great job. It's a really great cast. Okay, I'm gonna cut off all the excess and then just worry about trimming closer in a minute. There we go. Just get rid of that. Being retired is great for a time, but not for luxury expenses. Oh, totally understood. But I'm fine with getting stuff too. OMG Pike is so hot. I like him in a Mountain Man form though. Oh yes. When he's Mountain Man form right at the very beginning when he's like hiding out. Yeah. And I don't think it's gonna give anything away. You know who Pike is, right? From the original series, the pilot, and like a later episode in I think the first season, where a Spock like steals the ship or something, right? Oh yeah. So you know the story of who he is. He ends up in that wheelchair, can't talk, and he can just beep yes or no, right? Yeah. So they go through. I know, right? So you never know. So they go through and in Discovery explain a little bit about what he's going to be going through. And so that's why you see him in the mountains hiding out, because he's already had a glimpse of his future and knows what's coming. So that's kind of his whole spiel in this show, at least for a bit, is attempting to come to terms, or at first to figure out a way out from that eventuality happening. Like, he's obsessing over it. And then he ends up, well, I don't want to give it all away, but he ends up coming to terms with the fact that it's going to happen anyway, right? And then it's just, the rest of the show, as far as we know, is just going to be him living out the time he's got and living it to the fullest. Not like he's deciding to, like, orbital skydive or anything silly just to get a thrill. I think he's just looking to live. Because it's not like he dies at the end. He loses his mobility, but, I mean, the Telosians end up taking care of that for him by giving that, like, virtual life, I guess. Okay, this is going to be the hardest part, getting in here. Yeah, it's such a great show. Just, that's all there is to it. In the second season, there's an episode that one day when it is provided to you, you will get it. It is the my brain is just stupid. It's the one where they do the musical episode. Oh, it's so good. I know some people complained about it because they're like, this isn't Star Trek. And I'm like, they've sung in Star Trek. Music is in Star Trek. Weird episodes are in Star Trek. It is what it is. But some people just want to be bitchy about it, but screw them. The musical episode is fantastic. I played some of it on here before, but it's a absolutely great episode. So fun. As usual, some sort of subspace crazy anomaly event thing happens and musical weirdness ensues. Wow, this is a really tiny thing to try to cut into. I'm going to try to do the best I can. If anything, I can round it off better when I'm tracing it. Because to be fair, it's going to be seen from a distance, so I don't think it's going to be perfect. But I can get it as close as I can so that it looks like it. You love musical episodes? Well, there's one in season 2. If you can find it even separately from the whole season somewhere, somehow, it's worth it. It's an absolutely great episode. Some sort of subspace phenomenon ends up creating some sort of like link between our universe and a universe that is filled with music and harmonies and all that, and it ends up making musicals break out when emotional moments happen during the show, like musicals are, right? So super cool. Okay. All right, I'm gonna arc this way and get rid of this back piece. Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of people were complaining about it, like, it shouldn't be musical episodes in Star Trek. This wouldn't actually happen. I'm like, the entire show wouldn't happen, genius. Transporter accidents wouldn't happen. So far as we know it, warp drive isn't going to happen. It's amazing the nits people will pick over, ultimately, right? I realize I'm cutting all of this over the paper I'm going to be painting over. I'm going to have to be really careful to get all the little bits up. Do that in a minute. Don't want to go too far. I want to cut into this like triangles to make it cut out. Remove yourself from my ship, triangle. Okay. There we go. No imagination? Yeah. Some people just aren't willing to expand their brains. And it's amazing for a show that is supposed to be about openness and new things and new worlds and new people and new ideas and being evolved humans. It's amazing how unevolved some of the viewers are. So sad. Okay. And this next bit. This is a little difficult. So hard to get in here. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. This is one of those situations where using an X-Acto blade would be smarter, and I have one. What I don't have, because I don't have a real need for it until this exact moment, is a one of those self-healing mats that you can cut into with a blade. Because then I could just cut it from above and not worry about it. But it's okay. Next time. All right, almost done. All I have to say about that is Darmok and Gelada Tanagra. Ha! Yes! So good. I forget what race that is. I know it. I just can't think of it right now. But I clearly remember the episode where that race, Darmok. No, not Darmok. I forgot what his actual name ends up being. Anyway, the guy from that race that they only speak in like phrases of like history from TNG, where he kidnaps Picard because they were not communicating and takes them down to the surface of the planet to make him understand how they communicate by having like a common enemy. It's a good episode. And then they have one of his race on the ship in Lower Decks, the newer animated show. It's pretty cool. And when the universal translators go offline, he reverts to speaking like that. It's so funny. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Okay. And let's get in here. Close enough. Time. World's been spinning since the beginning. Everything will be alright. Shine. Okay, that's going to be up there. So what does that mean, you say? I need to make room. Let's get this over. And this. And this. And grab this. And let's turn this so I can get to it. Because it's way too far up that way. Fine for painting, terrible for tracing. World's been spinning since the beginning. Everything being all around. Sunshine. Good time. World's been spinning since the beginning. World's been spinning since the beginning. Everything will be on the line. Sunshine. Yeah. I think I got it all. Yep, that works. It's not meant to be permanent. It's meant to be there enough for me to be able to fill it in with the masking fluid. So that makes me happy. All right. save this guy for the future. I'm sure he'll use him again someday. Put him over here. Pencil. Don't need pencil anymore. That can go over here. I do, in a minute, need a tool. Probably use this guy. Excuse me. Yep, that'll probably work just fine. Before I do the masking part of this, no, I should probably put the masking fluid on next. And then while that's drying, I can put the pinstripe on. Pinstriping. Yeah, I think I have to do that next. Okay. Let's crack this guy open. I will think about forever. It's hard to see. There's the ship right there. That little guy. I'm going to try to fill him in with some masking fluid so it'll dry, and then I'll put the pinstriping behind it. Okay. Can talk about your well-being. To show you. To get through. Is there a time where I can the thing which you and implementing time out weather? Can't know to show you. No telling me when you get there. You can't friend happening. You can't fair. Sorry, I realize I'm not talking a whole lot. I'm going to turn the music up a tiny bit while I'm just focused on this. All right. I think that's covered pretty well. I need to let it dry before I keep messing with it. I have yet to figure out a way to cover I don't want to call it a large area, but a semi-large area with masking fluid. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but it dries so quickly that it gloms together. So when you're like trying to paint some of the liquid on top of where it's already dried, because it's the same material, it wants to stick to it and bring it back up. So I have to go over it a couple times to make sure, it's actually touching the paper everywhere. Um, I'm sure that's where they're like, use a mask of some kind and tape it down, or and then cut the tape or do something funky like that. I'm just not that good. So this is how it is. Um, I think it'll be fine. Yeah. The goal is to leave it white, like when I'm done with it. I'm not putting textures or imagery of the ship over the top of it. It's just going to be the shape. So we'll see at the end. All right. So let that dry. Let me grab. Okay, I should not do that. There we go. And there we go. Let me no. Get this off on its own sheet so I don't get this masking fluid all over where the brushes are going to go. Whoa. Okay. Oh, it's silicone. I was like, well, that just broke. No, it just pops out. However, how do I squeeze it back in there? Oh, I got it. Well, that's good to know for the future. That just pops right out. All right. Turn this back. And now this. The hard part for me is going to be keeping it aligned, like straight with the paper. And maybe I am better off doing it sideways. Stay. Come with me. There you go. Yeah. I was thinking of doing more of the masking fluid in areas, just random shapes and like stripes and thin lines. I don't think I'm going to. I think. Fuck, am I going to do it anyway? That is how I roll. Fine. Whoa. All right. That's good. I brought a little blobby piece of the rubber cement, the masking fluid that was stuck in the cap and down the side. I took care of that. All right, let's try this again. Um, okay, I need to go to see this when I'm. Okay. Stop there. Okay. Do I still have access to yes? Just use that paper towel I had in here earlier. I think Desert said a bunch of stuff. I will read that in a second. There we go. Desert, you said, yay, back to a computer where I can type. So I have not tried this yet. I was considering lightly dampening larger zones that I wanted to cover in masking fluid with clean water, then brushing on the masking to see if it helps in limiting that initial feeling of dry paper resistance to the fluid. Oh, I see what you mean. I'll share the results when I attempt it. I get you. So basically, like pre-wet the area where you're going to put the masking fluid down so that it has a maybe better chance to adhere. Hmm. Well, I'm curious what's in this because it might be best to use whatever the base is in this. If it's like alcohol or something, is it going to say? Of course not. It just says masking fluid, which I think is basically like a rubber. But yeah, it doesn't say at all. So that's actually a really good question. Yeah, yeah. Let me know how it comes out. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. It'd almost be nice if there was like a thinner masking fluid that would stay liquid longer so you could work it and then stand back for like half an hour or use a heat gun or something to dry it. This is great stuff, don't get me wrong, but it dries so fast. Like you've got to be brisk when using it. All right. Do I have my coffee? I do. Drink if you got it, people. Coffee. Would glue work? Hmm. I imagine glue would work like for going onto the paper, but because it's fibrous, it may glue to it like permanently, or at least in a way where you got to peel it off and it will rip the paper, especially once wet. I don't know how it would work putting it on just by itself like a mask. If you're going to leave it on it completely, totally. I think that would probably be fine. But peeling it back off again, I don't know how that would do. I wonder if you could mix the glue with some of the the rubber. But I'd be afraid to mix things without knowing what the repercussions are. I mean, so long as I'm not mixing like high-end chemicals or like bleach and pneumonia or anything. Yeah. Glue is like a you wish it might want to work. Wax would be really difficult to get back up again afterward. Like I've seen situations where people use they make these completely clear crayons, which is just wax. Um, and then they will draw and mark things like secret messages and whatnot. And then they'll send it to kids and be like paint over it, and the message will appear because it's the area where the paint won't stick. So like I know you can put it on and leave it there, but to pull it back up again, I think wouldn't work. You still wet down there and I'm smacking my hands on you? Yeah. Come on. I'm still a rock star. I got my rock moves. Yeah. Guess what? I'm more fun. Beer time. Show you tonight. All right. So let's think this through like I don't normally do. So my plan is to do I've seen similar things to this kind of style that will just use paint drops and like big splotches, but they do like acrylic or they do something funky with it, and they just do tons of big bold colors and in shapes and splotches, right? I want to do a similar thing, but with watercolor with nebulas, but I don't want to darken the whole thing, but I don't not want to darken it if it needs it. So I'm going to be really flying by the seat of my pants, but my goal is to not go all the way to the edge of the paper because I don't want to do a full edge to edge. I'll get close, like I'll go as far as like the corner of my nails here, right? And I'll do like a big blobby area, and maybe I'll breach close to it, but I don't want to fully to the edge this today. Because the ship is here, I might want this to be a tiny bit of the indigo or a Payne's gray or a mix, like lightly so, but most of the splotches of light colors in the middle. So how do I do that? Well, I can do one of two methods. I can do wet on dry or wet on wet. Wet on wet, meaning I put down a large portion of plain water in the middle as much as I can. That being said, I don't have to use a brush for that. I could use my fingers. Like I could use like my spray bottle and wet it down a good portion in the middle and then even it out using just my fingers, right? And then paint light colors on it and then go back over and do some bolder colors and then maybe a few bolder ones and then get my kind of hints of indigo and those grays in there and then just stand the hell back and let it dry. I thought about putting salt on it, but I don't want to because getting it back off again and getting salt everywhere is just a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to skip that step today, I think. Oh, desert, since you're here. Oh, such a cool thing that I found. So I'm sure that you already know about this, but I have to bring it up. So I was perusing Amazon, right? And looking for just watercolor materials and whatnot. And I was looking through the entire Winsor Newton catalog because I was looking at this, right? Because this is Winsor Newton, the masking fluid. I don't know if I've ever really properly shown it up close, but there it is. But they have other materials, mediums, in these same similar plastic bottles, right? Some of them are really cool. There's iridescent medium, which is exactly what it sounds like it is. It does this kind of metallic and iridescent paint, but you can add medium to your existing paints. So you can take some right from, the tube, put it in a small area, add some of the iridescent medium and a little bit of water and mix it all together. And you've got yourself an iridescent version of the colors you already have. You don't have to go get iridescent or metallics. I thought that was cool. I saw someone in the comments under it was saying they use it for when they're doing like greeting cards, because they like to line the border. Like after they've done their painting, they'll make like a gold or a silver or whatever color the theme of the painting is on the greeting card, and they'll do like a thick border like this, but it's that iridescent paint of whatever they've been working on, maybe even leftover paint. Such a neat idea. But that sent me down the rabbit hole. I also found that there's granulating medium, which looked really exciting. So some paints naturally have granulation, which I've not really experienced a lot of, but I put it over here. Of course, I put it over here. I'm not going to run over a dog. I might make it. Ooh, I went right to the edge of how long the headphones were. It's hard to tell, but there's like maybe a tiny bit of granulation in here. Mainly it's just overlapping and weird water stains, but there might be like a hint of granulation in there. Like some darker colors I found, when I see people doing it, tends to dry and it ends up with like basically like a texture, like a sandy texture or granulation, granules, right? There's little tiny bits and they form pretty little like sandy textures, right? But if your paint doesn't have that or doesn't have much of it and you want it, you can get granulation medium that you can premix into some of your paint, just like the iridescent medium. And you can just shift your existing paint into so many different directions. I just thought that was really cool. So someday it'll be on my list. I already have it saved, but someday I'll like, hey, let's blow $20 and get both or one of them, however much they are. And I just think that idea is so cool to be able to try different things with it. Because I'm becoming addicted, right? So I just want to try different things. Even if I'm not great at things yet, I want to at least experiment so I can kind of say, got that one in my memory bank and it's in my drawer. If I ever need it, oh, hey, I already own that. It's over here and I can go to it. For now, it's just interesting that I know it exists. That's all I got. Um, I also saw watercolor markers on there, which sounds interesting. I don't know if you remember a few months back, but I tried some cheapy watercolor markers and they were garbage because they were from like basically a dollar store. It wasn't, but it was like one of those, I don't know, Marshalls or one of those side stores. Could have been actually Marshalls. I don't remember. Anywho, that they're actual proper professional watercolor markers, which sounds intriguing, but at the same time sounds like it could be hot garbage because there's no guarantee it's going to work, right? Uh, but they're meant to draw with the marker, and then when it's totally dry, or even while it's still wet, you can hit it with water and it will turn into regular watercolor paint because it is. It's just the same pigment that they say is in their tubes and in their pans. Words from their mouths or from their site. So it's interesting to think about possibly trying, but they're very expensive and I'm already not great at drawing straight lines. So why would I do something like that? I love these because with brushes, I can be haphazard as hell and be able to actually make something that looks halfway decent at the end. So why would I want something where I had to be perfect? That's why I don't do anything other than watercolor for now, probably forever. Um, so yeah, I might do that method, spraying it down with water and then I'm spreading it out with my fingertips and letting it sit in that for a brief moment to even out, and then we'll hit it with paint. Then the question becomes, what paint? Um, what colors? I want to be a little bit everywhere. I don't have a particular color in mind. I want to do a tiny bit of a lot, but I'm thinking what I might want to do is lean green, because the one big thing Voyager is known for is fighting the Borg a lot. And the main color of the Borg, aside from black, is green or gray if you count their skin. So I might lean partially gray, but I might hit with spots of color in different places, but the main focus might be green. So before I wet down the entire piece of paper, let's make some wells of color so I know I have them ready to go to. Because if I sit and let the water sit on here and then go try to mix the paint and go back, everything will have dried. So let's get this part ready. Now, what brushes am I going to do? I think I'll just use my biggest round brush. This guy, I think. Um, no, this one. What is this, 16? Yeah, size 16 round brush. Princeton. Velvet touch. Yeah, so is this actually playing different songs? It is. Okay. No, good. Carry on, music. Okay. Uh, so we need green. So let's clean up a mess that I've got here. I mean, it's not really a mess, but it's just I don't want it with this. Too much of it. All right. Um, I say let's get a couple greens going. Yeah, we just heard this song. Sometimes Spotify doesn't know what it's doing and it just plays the same things again. Yeah. Chicken. again, dance again. Dance again. All right. I have a few different greens going there. I'll grab them and mix them at the last minute when I need them. Clearly we're gonna need some indigo at some point, so I'll get some water in there just and let it sit. I'll go ahead and hit some Payne's Gray as well, and then just add it to what's over here. It's a mixture of Payne's Gray and indigo, but I'll just let it play together. Okay. Other colors. This is a really pretty reddish color. Let's rehydrate that. And let's just get a couple. I'm sitting here doing this the hard way when I have a spray bottle right here. All right. I think I have enough to get started, so I'm going to go ahead and start spraying it down. It looks like ads are starting in a minute. I'm just going to be wetting this down. I'll probably start it in the middle of the ads. So I'm just going to sit here and drink some coffee for a minute. Then I'm going to spray this thing down and start wetting the whole surface area. And when we come back from ads, I'll start filling it in with some color. So hold on to your butts, people. It's going to happen. And before we go to break two, there was someone who followed earlier in the day. I'm going to go ahead and play the alert for that. I think Summer Breeze 104 for following earlier today at random. I appreciate you for being here if you are. All right. Pretty close. 10 seconds or so, and it should be starting ads. Then we got like, I don't know, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't know what it does. And then we'll be back and we will start working on this, but I'm going to start wetting it down now. Or maybe it's not. It says ads start in 31 minutes. So maybe we already did them and I'm stupid. That's possible. I mean, who am I kidding? That's likely. So yeah, well, we'll just continuing. And yep, clearly can feel areas where it's wet. Clearly can feel areas where it's not. We hit it with some more water. Oh, ads are happening. Yeah, it's not reporting it right in Twitch. I'll just let it do its thing. Do, 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 do. Well, I do love pink. I wonder if there is anything else I can find that I like. I do have a 80s pop list. The oh no, 90s. The 90s one? There's 80s. I thought I had a 90s list on here. I think I need to delete some of my lists. I've got so many on here. Oh, I talked about it earlier. Yeah, you know what? Oh no, there we go. Oh, it's millennial pop. Eh. Nah, no. I know what I'm going to do. Are we back? It, oh, it's been like 3 minutes. I'm hoping ads are done by now. Yep. Okay, awesome. Switching gears. Play this in the background while we work. This is from that Strange New Worlds musical episode. It's called Subspace Rhapsody. I'll just play it in the background. Not very loud, but just to be present. All right. We're pretty damp. Let's get going. Okay. Team and field are stable. I'll get to the walker in a cessed state when I'm able. Ology is the most confounding thing I appear to be singing. Most unusual, so peculiar. Just a daily mundane, a headache, a splinter. It's happening again. Why are we singing? Apologies, the most confounding thing we appear to be singing. Most unusual, so peculiar. Ortegas is at the helm. The piracy is my realm. We're in a field surrounded. Flight system steady. Info sending ready. At the console, systems initializing. Life support robust, now finalizing. I'll check inertial tempers and see if we're answered. All is okay. It appears that all is okay. Sunshine, a particle function that's trading. It's a place to put your shields all at the ready. Findings and we appear to be singing most unusual, so peculiar. Our system stable. Our system stable. And we sing it. Some place we've seen in everyone. It's only the show tried and true. And little distance, in everything. I'm just with him and you are come. Okay. Now I want to put that musical on. It's so good. You lost feelings and just not good to know. And what whenever you learn. apologies, and they appear to be finding in singing. I'm not done yet, 'cause you always do it. And I saying, taking that in front of the clue. Man myself moons and pins and all the strings to front. This news really changes everything. So, my eyes turn to pain. And then think love, all your life, the things. In pains. It's when you speak, you bring the pain. You have to bring the pain. And she No content, same time. Got my pain was singing. Anyway, my six where last through space and through time, where I think unpackable and inspirational. Okay, let's do some peeling. Right. I mean, clearly there were gaps in there, but that's fine. It's looking pretty cool. I'm debating if there's anything else I want to do with it or leave it like this. I'm kind of okay leaving it like this because I want this to just be just there. Yeah, I think I'm pretty okay with it staying like that. Yeah, let's leave it there. If we decide we want to add something to it in the future, we can do that. But for now, I'm happy leaving it alone. Sign this puppy. Hmm. I have to figure out where. Do I want to mess all this up? Yeah, that's fine. I think, right? Should I do it over here? Maybe I should do it over here. And then white. Yeah, I like it. Can barely hear myself think. Where is the top? On the other side. Okay. Let's scooch this over here. I am getting just one sheet, not like three, right? Yes. I have to really double check. It is just one sheet. Wow, it actually looks nice sideways too. But yeah, vertical. Vertical works or horizontal. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I'm officially tired. How about you? Let's call it quits. Um, I think we did fairly good for ourselves. I do realize I did what I always do because I do it from one angle and I leave it there. That's the same perspective that I paint from. So everything when I do it vertical looks vertical. But then when I turn it, you can see everything gets squished because I did it all in that one orientation. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where in the future, I need to just remember to rotate and hit things from different angles. Also, when I can take my time and slow down and really hit things a little slower and more methodically, I'm sure they'll look better too. When I throw them together, they're not as great, but they're still pretty. No, I'm happy with it. Right. Horizontal is nice though. You're right. And I already signed it that way, but who cares? It's me. Just do it like that and leave it. I wonder how about this way? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Well that's the way to do it. It's meant to be like this. That or vertical. Oops. I'm smacking shit over there. Yeah, either vertical or like this. It looks nice like that, where it's on the bottom. Who knows? I may go over this with more paint just to cover it up, the signature. Or I'll just leave it and just let it be sideways. Whatever, who cares? Yeah, I do kind of like it horizontal. But all right. Probably would have been better if I used less colors because they're doing like I thought, where it goes, the colors are going everywhere. I really should have done like I intended and stuck with just green, but it's fine. I think overall it's okay. At least I still have my little Voyager template, so I can do this again. So I can try it a couple different ways in the future and give it a whirl. See how it looks in different perspectives. But it's cute. I like it. I like my little Voyager. I'm gonna leave it alone like that. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let's go do our shout outs and find someone to raid. Keyboard. In order of appearance, Desert Dragon Lover, thank you for hanging out with me. Goddess Whispers, same deal. Thank you so much for hanging out. And who's out there? Who's out there today in the great wide world of watercolor? Uh, Fairy Fingers, what are they doing? They're painting and they're using the same palette I am. That's gold to me. So let's visit. I might like Tricky's Tricky Tuesday. Yeah, I see when it comes across and I just don't ever find I don't ever find the time to be free on Tuesdays, but I will try to break free and be able to. This week is a tiny bit more difficult because I'm back on my on-call week. It starts at 7 Pacific, but I don't know what time Tricky, that was confusing, Tricky treks. So I will do my best to hang out. I did see a part of a VOD going over a TOS episode, so I will try to make myself available. did it not paste? Oh, I copied it and then I pasted it. There we go. Yeah, let's go visit. It's Fairy Fingers 883. They're currently watercoloring. Let's go say hello. I'm gonna go ahead and, assuming they kept raids, I'm gonna start a raid. And we're gonna head on over. Guys, my name's Bear. I have very much barely been watercoloring. And I am out for the rest of the night. I'll be back on Thursday doing who the hell knows what, but we'll figure it out before I go live. It'll be a surprise to you and me. Have a great evening. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.